it's Tarina. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Here you will find makeup, hair, all things beauty and lifestyle content. If that sounds good to you, make sure to subscribe. To my already subscribers, hey, it's so good to see you back. My last video was my top 5 eyeshadow tips for beginners. If you haven't seen that video, I'll make sure to link it somewhere up here or down below. I got so much positive feedback from that video, so I wanted to just turn this into a beginner series. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to blend eyeshadows. I have so many different ways to blend eyeshadows. I want to start out with a very simple way to blend your eyeshadows that doesn't require a lot of brushes. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do today. Let's go ahead and get started. We're all zoomed in now, so let's go ahead and prime the eye. I'm going to use this concealer by Urban Decay. This is the Naked Skin Concealer, shade medium. Just going to place a little bit of this on my lid. And I'm going to take my beauty sponge and blend this out. This beauty sponge is damp. This one is by Beauty Blender, but there's a ton of different companies that make beauty sponges. I just really like this one. The whole purpose of priming the eyes is to make the eyeshadow last longer. It gives something for shadows to hold on to. It also makes shadows look a lot more vibrant. After you prime your eye, you kind of just want to identify your eye shape. I have an almond shaped eye. My eye is literally shaped like a little almond. My eye also creases right in here. You want to look in the mirror straight on and see kind of just what your eyes are doing. My eye shape is different on both sides, so I kind of have to compensate for that. Shh, don't tell anybody. We established what our eye shape is. Let's go ahead and figure out what palette we're going to use. I am going to use this palette by Colourpop. It is the Mulan palette. It looks like this. It's pretty neutral, but then there's some beautiful red and gold pops. There's also glitter in there, which is my fave. I'm going to go ahead and take the color Strength. It's this one right here. It's more like a red brown, and I really have been loving this color for fall. Now I'm going to pick my brush. For this eye look, I want to kind of do something a little bit more than basic. I want to create a nice little wing type shape that's blended, but then kind of add a little bit more fun stuff with it. You'll see. I'm going to take a Morphe brush. This is the M433. It looks like this. I like using this brush because it is a bit stiff at the ferrule and it's a little bit fluffy towards the tips of the bristles. So it's really nice for packing on color and then blending. And it's a really nice moderate shape for my eye. It's not too big, not too small.
That's what she said. No time, but she did. No time!
Now using the color Strength, I'm going to put that right in my crease. As you can see, this color is very pigmented. So I want to just tap off a little bit of the excess so that it doesn't get everywhere. I also like to start my eyes before I apply any of my complexion product. That way I can be messy and free and I could just do my shadows, clean up everything, and then go back to complexion. Applying this right in my crease. Right now I am just tapping that color. So just tapping, tapping, tapping.
Tap, tap, tap in.
This is going to give me the most payoff. So that really nice bold color, my crease is here and I'm going just a little bit above. So this technique will work on all different eye shapes. It doesn't really matter. This is just pretty much a very beginner basic blending technique. Just applying the shadow and then blending it out. Color is laid down. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next eye. Just taking that shadow and just tapping it a little bit above the crease. By putting it a little bit above the crease, regardless if your eyes are open or closed, you will still be able to see the shadow. And you just keep on dipping into the shadow and applying it to the eye until you get the pigmentation that you want. For this eye look, I'm not going to apply the shadow all over the lid. I'm just going to stop right about halfway on both eyes. Before, I just used one side of the brush. It was nice and flat, and that's how I packed on the pigment. Now I'm going to turn the brush to use the very tips of the bristles, and I'm going to take the tips of the bristles to help me blend. With the tip of the bristles, I'm doing very small circles right where that shadow ends. I'm holding the brush right at the end because it's going to help blend out everything a lot softer. I like to take the shadow all the way up to the brows. Okay, now moving on to the next side, taking the tips of the bristles and just doing small, soft circles on the edge of that shadow. You can also do windshield wiper motions, which is this motion right here, but with the tips of the brush. I normally do kind of a variation of both, depending on how I feel. This is what we have right now. That is the basic technique of blending. Laying down the color, then switching the brush, and then just doing those really small circles. You don't really have to rub or get all aggressive or anything like that. Small, light, soft motions will really help you blow out that color and have that perfect blend. So what happens when you blend is that the color starts getting softer and softer. The main color that you packed on starts to disappear. What you can do then is go right back into that shadow where you started. Place more shadow. Now I'm going to set this brush down and I'm going to take a lighter color. So this is pretty much the same brush, it's just clean. So since we're gonna do a lighter color, I wanted a nice clean brush so that the colors don't get muddy together. And I'm going to take this shade right here. It's like a light beige, it's called Fighter. And I'm going to place this on the inner corner of the eye. And I'm just going to use those same tapping motions, tapping this color into the eye socket. Then I'm going to meet the color that I already had placed down there. Color is already laid down. I'm going to go ahead and turn the brush and do really soft circles back and forth, right against the eye socket. Now I'm going to take the clean side of the brush and do small patting motions to help blend the dark shadow with the light shadow. Light shadows really help to open up the eye a bit. This type of technique works again with all different eye shapes. Using a light matte shadow and a dark matte shadow is universally flattering. The top portion of the eye is already blended out. I'm gonna go ahead and move on with the rest of my makeup, and I'll be right back so that we can tackle the lower lash line. Okay, I am back and ready to blend this lower lash line. I'm going to continue on with the Mulan palette. So I'm gonna take this black right here with a little bit of silver in it and smoke out the lower lash line just a little bit. I'm going to just take a flat synthetic brush. This is the Morphe M410. It looks like this. I'm going to take this and dip it straight into the shadow and then just tap off the excess. So now I'm going to take this brush and right along the lower lash line, I'm just going to push the shadow right there, right underneath. But I'm not going to do this all the way across my eye because I want to keep it nice and open. I'm just going to take it about halfway. Now I'm going to take this brush and clean it off with my clean sweep. It's just this right here. It just helps to pull pigment out. Then I'm going to go back in with this shadow right here, the one that we used on the lid, and do the same thing. But this time I'm going to take the shadow and put it right underneath that deep black liner. And this one I'm going to take it just a little bit further than that black line. Just using pressing motions. Now you can press the brush down at an angle, or you can take the tip of the brush and press it down. It's really up to you. But I like to lay the brush down just a little bit at an angle to get really close to that lash line. We're just placing color, and then after that we're gonna blend it. Taking a really tiny small blending brush. This is the M508. It looks like this. This is actually a smudger brush. With the same shadow, I'm going to place that underneath and do really small circles. And then just going back and forth just a little bit. Now I'm going to take the smudger brush and clean it off again. You can use a towel if you don't have something like this. Take this shade right here, the same one that we used on the upper lid. Dust off that color a little bit. Towards the inner portion of the eye, I'm just going to press this pigment right there. And then just smudging just a little bit. To kind of finish off this look, I'm gonna take some of this highlighter. This is by Kylie Jenner. This is in Fiji. It's a loose highlighter. Using that same smudger brush, I'm going to add just a little bit into the inner corner. Just brings a little bit of interest to really open the eyes up a little bit more. At this point, if you have any fallout, take a little bit of translucent powder and a fluffy brush and then just wipe that away. I don't have any, so I'm good there. Now I'm going to take my mascara. This is the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash. I'm just going to apply mascara on the lower lash line. So this is the final eye look. I wanted to touch on just a few products that I use that I didn't show. For my lips, I know I'm gonna get asked because this is such a bold color. I use this Luxe Liquid Lipstick by Colourpop. This is part of the Mulan Luxe Lip Trio. It's a stain almost. It doesn't really completely dry down, but a little bit goes a long way. And it's super, super pigmented, as you can see. For my lashes, I'm using Flutter Lashes, and this is the style Paige. And I'm trying out a new foundation today. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter Liquid Foundation in the shade 7.75. Now, let me tell you about this right here.
Listen to me, listen to me.
This doesn't really show you the true shade until maybe a good 5 minutes after it has dried down. You see what it looks like on my skin right now. When I first bought it, then I swatched it. I was like, oh my gosh, I must have gotten the wrong color. As you can see on my hand, look how light that is in comparison to this right now. It takes a while to really dry down and show you your true tone. If you're looking for a nice matte foundation that stays put, this is the one, but you might have a little trouble finding your shade match. Have any questions regarding the eyeshadow blending technique that I use, or any questions in general, feel free to comment down below, or you can hit me up on my other socials. Check me out on my website, itsserena.com. I hope you are staying happy and safe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.